What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to Leafs Digest. Now, why would you take a lead in a game? Why would you start the game with the lead when you can just rely on a third period comeback where you're going to score 5 unanswered goals, 4 unanswered goals? What is the point of starting on time, taking a lead early if you know you can just wait until the third period? That's what the Toronto Maple Leafs have done in the last 2 games. And now, by no means do I condone this type of behavior. By no means do I think this is productive play or style of play for the game of hockey. And you look at these two teams, you look at New Jersey and Detroit, neither very good teams, neither playoff teams, not the type of teams that you could expect to face in big game scenarios and go, oh, well, we're down a couple goals in the third period. We'll be able to come back. But hey, it instills a little bit of confidence. I can say that for certainty to know, all right, we can push back a little bit here. Not the ideal start to the game, but the Toronto Maple Leafs come back from down 4-2 yet again in a back-to-back game. The first time in over 20 years that the Toronto Maple Leafs have come back in back-to-back games from down 2 goals to win. 4 unanswered tonight. We beat the New Jersey Devils 6-4. We moved to 28-10-3 on the season. We see Austin Matthews get a hat trick. Jack Campbell pulled in the first 9-10 minutes of the game. Mitch Marner scores in his 6th straight. Morgan Rielly gets another point. Kind of just a weird night all around from this Leafs team, but I mean, goody. Let's just start with the beginning of the game. Jack Campbell goes in there. He gets lit up for 3 goals on 9 shots, only makes 6 saves and gets yanked. Is this cause for concern at this point based on the play that he had tonight, he's had over the last little stretch, and the fact that he had to get pulled here?
I guess cause for a little bit of concern, but I'm not too worked up about it. I think Jack Campbell has more often than not proven himself, and especially in the playoffs, which is, what we're thinking about and building towards. So I'm not going to write him off yet. I'm not going to hit the panic button. If anything, it was nice to see a situation where Jack Campbell can be human and Peter Mrazek can come in and be superhuman. So it's nice to see that reversal of the roles, because I obviously know Jack Campbell, he's solid, right? Like, he won't always steal the game for you, but he has a lot recently for the Leafs. So that's something to take a little bit of solace in. But the fact that Peter Mrazek, after we called him out, Phil, we called him out. We're like, this guy needs to be better. We spent all this money on him. Let's throw him on the trade block. Like, I don't care if we get a bag of pucks back. Let's just get that man out of the city. We really kind of sounded off. I'm making it sound worse than it was, but you get what I mean. We
ate our words. One day later, we started to eat our words for him being able to come in and take over.
He must be a Leafs Digest guy, because if he saw what we were saying, he definitely put our criticisms to rest tonight, man. He came in and was a big part of the comeback. As much as you managed to outscore your problems, I mean, he's the guy that made it possible. And also, it wasn't the perfect game, but I'm hyped up right now. I get you'd rather not have problems in the first place. The reality is you ran into them, and I'd just rather be able to outscore your problems at that point. I mean, get the game, get the 2 points. And Austin Matthews, bro. Austin Matthews. Like, when I look at this game, I want to say, who would have thought? And I don't mean Matthews particularly. I just mean the way everything unfolded. But Phil, you knew what was going to happen in this game. And tell us about the bets. You had the crystal ball going.
All right. So if you guys follow along, you subscribe to this channel, you would get notifications pregame that we threw out a betting preview. We do it before every single game. And for tonight's betting preview, I said that we would get a Jason Spezza goal at plus 350. Cash, and I said that the Toronto Maple Leafs would be winning after the first period. You can't win them all, but what I ended up doing 5 minutes before the game, all day I contemplated betting on Matthews scoring tonight, but he was minus 135, and I did not enjoy the line that much. I kept saying, I know he's going to score, I feel he's going to score, but I just don't see the value at a minus 135, so I let it be. 5 minutes before the game, I said, man, this guy's scoring tonight. I need to capitalize on this somehow, and I think it's going to be a big one for him. So I swear I can pull up receipts right now. I bet Austin Matthews would have 3 or more goals in tonight's game, and let alone
crazy son of a gun.
Austin Matthews buries 3 or more in tonight's game. He gets the hat trick on the empty netter, and the best part is that when he was down late in the game there, New Jersey hadn't even pulled the goalie yet, and I sent a message to the group chat, and I said, boys, Austin Matthews, empty netter incoming. And of course, so it was a little bit of a predictive night from that standpoint for myself. If you follow along with the betting previews, you'd got to cash in on the Jason Spezza one. Unfortunately, I hung you out to dry on the first period one. Didn't really see that coming, but that being said, if you download the BetStamp app, you use the link that's in the description, you can track every play that I'm making. You can follow along in real time with me and bet with me, get notified when I make those bets. So you can follow along there. But yeah, huge night, and cashing on the 3 or more goals is ridiculous. And honestly, this is even, I said this to you before I did it too. Like, I knew he was going to have a big night, but it was one of those ones where I looked at the 2+ goals line and I said, man, if he scores 3 and I only bet 2+, I'm going to be mad. And so I said, all right, I'm going for the 3. And then he gets the 3. So big night.
That is huge, man. That is huge. Like, we need to, I can't believe you bet that. Like, it's one of those ones that you can't justify logically all the time, but you just get the gut feeling and you got to ride, man. Like, it pays off right now. You hit your hardest bets to make. You miss the easy one, hit the hard ones, whatever, man. If you guys know gambling, you know that you're positive on the units at that point.
Yeah, so big night for that one. A couple of things cash, but I mean, for Matthews to be able to get himself 3 tonight, we kind of saw it coming where he was going to have a big night, regardless of if it was actually going to be 3. It's just the longer he goes without scoring, that's one guy you can certainly say, yeah, a goal is coming here. Because that guy cannot go a very long time without scoring. He puts himself right back into the conversation of the scoring race. He's right back in the talks of guys who are up at the top there. So big night for him as well, just to be able to get back into things. But I mean, it comes from some good stuff to respond to bad things that started early on. His line has had trouble starting games. It's been something that I've kind of talked about, the team in general struggling to start games. This was one where I think I've noticed more in the last few games. His line starting games, starting periods, they've struggled. They get pinned in their zone defensively and they can't figure it out. And it's weird because it's just at the start of the period. That's kind of what ends up happening tonight. And unfortunately for the Tavares, Nylander, Kerfoot line, they get sewered because Matthews' line goes for a change while New Jersey is coming into the zone. So they escape the minuses. Tavares' line gets sewered with them there. But it stems from Matthews starting that. Well, that New Jersey goal happens, and immediately coming the other way, line comes out, and they respond. They respond on that next shift. Matthews buries. It's just the response from the offense tonight was there. And this is one thing where I think that, yeah, we're going to sit here and you and I are going to be able to talk about, man, there's some poor defensive play going on. There's some problems happening here. But for the offense to be clicking like this is a good sign, especially considering you and I talked about the line changes going on. It really hasn't been much of a concern. And even within game, you and I have said, Sheldon Keefe, not afraid to turn on that blender. As soon as something starts going wrong, he just throws everything in there and sees what comes out on the other end. And it has been working offensively. It's been clicking, and they've been scoring a lot of goals.
Man, Sheldon Keefe's been playing chess. Like, he saw that last year. I love that, you make mistakes and you're going to learn from them. And it's always one thing to say you've learned, but to put those lessons into action the next season to try to get a different outcome, that's what we're seeing from Keefe. He wants his team to be prepared in a number of situations because freak accidents happen. Sometimes you'll lose one of your top centermen, one of your highest paid players, John Tavares, your captain. That will happen. But the way he's blended these lines consistently has prepared this team to go through the storm. And I love it, man. We're seeing it pay off in so many different scenarios, whether it's pregame, mid-game, end of the game. He's never afraid to switch things up, and the players have responded. So as much as Keefe's strategy's been great, I mean, it looks great on the players too. And so many guys in the bottom 6 have stepped up to make it so that, these things can happen. And so many guys, I feel like, we have that issue with the contracts, right? But guys outperforming what they're worth and playing great in a number of situations. Like, this is one of the few times, man, where I can sit back and say, my Sheldon Keefe criticisms were wrong. They weren't warranted. He's doing the best things for this team right now.
Yeah, fair enough. And I feel like you and I at points this year have had to come on here and say, hey, eat our words. Then that's what we did with the Mrazek thing. That's kind of what's happening with the whole Keefe situation at this point and what he's doing. And I do want to correct myself. It wasn't immediately after the first goal that Matthews line did it. It was after the second goal. That's when they came out and responded and scored the goal. But I mean, here's another thing to look at. One thing that's been going really, really well for this team, and I think does help contribute to a lot of the offensive success, the centermen. the centermen have been winning a lot of draws. We have some centermen who have the highest face-off win percentages in the NHL. One thing that I have noticed, it struggled a little bit earlier in the game, but it kind of got better as it went on. The wingers weren't helping out as much in the draw. But then it goes to that Marner goal where Marner gets his 6th in a row, 6th straight game with a goal. And it comes from a face-off where Matthews wins the face-off. Him and Bunting battle to get it back. Matthews slides it over, and immediately Marner tucks it in. This team has been capitalizing on winning faceoffs, and I know that I'm probably going to be a little too critical on a small detail of the game, but it's really paying off, and it's making things different for this offense and being able to possess the puck, start the period, start the shift with the puck. It changes a lot of things to be able to win those draws, and it's a big, drastic difference from what we've seen in the last couple of years where we've had guys who just struggle to win draws.
Oh my God. Remember, it's crazy. Guys like Jay McClement, he kind of saw us through some of those defensive zone draws that we needed to take back in the past few years of this team. And when I say past few years, I'm talking I don't know, stretch of 2012 to 2015, 16. So around that time, just before Matthews and that young core got in, you're right. We just looked at our roster and it's Kadri, our number one center. And I know right now it doesn't look so bad, but for the longest time, it really did. Mm-hmm. And it made you wonder about how defensively prepared we were going to be for a long series with a team, like the Bruins, who did take care of the faceoff dots, who could get extra possessions and opportunities and make the most of it. So, I mean, it creates that little bit of forgiveness that teams need in any sport. You get extra opportunities, second whacks at it. And I love too, when it's a draw, as much as you touched on it there, as much as it's the centerman who needs to take care of it, if the wingers aren't getting involved, it's going to show. And it did early in this game, but eventually finding a way to up the grit and get in there a little bit earlier, I mean, it rewarded us with more face-off possessions. So that's something that was a key to getting that win when we were trailing 4-2. And it's just such a luxury, bro, because we've been on the other side of it, right? We know what it feels like to have no one playing up the middle that you can rely on, and just dreaming, looking at the draft number one center, just the way we look at a right-handed number one defenseman right now was the way we looked at a centerman for the longest time. And now that we have, I mean, JT and Matthews, who again are league leaders in this face-off dot percentage, it's a luxury, and I gotta outwardly say I appreciate it and I'm happy about it because I know what it feels like, all of us do, to not have that. You don't win a game like this without it.
No, yeah, you don't. And it is a major, major contributing factor. And then another thing, too, that we got to kind of even address here is the special teams of this Leafs team at this point. It's obvious that this power play is a power play unit that's supposed to score a lot of goals. You've got $40 million between your forwards on that power play, and then you add Morgan Riley, you're sitting at what is that, $47 million, $48 million between the 5 guys on the ice. They should be scoring a lot of goals, but the unit
over
that's
half
even
your cap space.
Yeah, and then the unit that's even deserving a lot of credit here, and deservedly so, is the penalty killing unit, because it's one thing for a team to go, damn, that penalty killing unit, they're hard to play against. They're really good. They make a lot of stops. It's hard to get shots, get goals, get time, get space. A lot of penalty killing units are able to do that. What the Leafs penalty killing unit has been able to do in the last little while, and hopefully they can continue it, because they've been playing unreal all year long, but this is something they've even added here, is becoming an offensive threat. And believe me, if you are the power play unit that goes out there and you know in the back of your mind, this penalty kill can score against us, it puts a little fear in your head where you go, okay, maybe we can't be as creative. Maybe we can't take as many chances, even though we've got an extra man. And there you go. You have it tonight. This penalty killing unit, 4-4, with a couple minutes left in the game, Kasha goes to the box, one of your penalty killers, and you're able to bury on them and go up and take the lead for the game-winning goal. The other thing, too, on it is just you know what, honestly, I mean, there's a guy who deserves some stuff, but I'm sure you're going to give him something here. So let's go to our awesome Matthews play of the day. Man, I'm giving it to that penalty killing goal. It's late in the game. You're desperate. You need to shut them down to have a chance to win or send this thing to OT. And you go above and beyond, and you score the game-winning goal. And it was a beautiful goal. Kerfoot with incredible patience. I mean, the defenseman Severson, what the hell was he doing? There's not a single person in the world who could justify what he did on that play. To be let's be completely honest. He just let Mikheyev go right to the net. But that aside, The patience from Kerfoot, Mikheyev driving the net and sticking with the play, Kerfoot able to find him and to bury there. Beautiful play all around. Your game-winning goal with a couple minutes left. Just incredible poise under pressure there. Love to see that from that group.
Man, my Austin Matthews play of the day is going to the exact same unfolding of events. I'll call it that because more went into it than just Mikheyev getting the goal. Kerfoot, huge part of it. And man, the penalty kill being like what you just said, in the back of the power play's mind is, hey, man, you slip up for a second. We're taking this thing the other way and we're going to get a chance. Like, you got the speed of Mikheyev. You got the smarts of Kerfoot. Like that. I mean, we've been eating our words consistently on this podcast, bro. And you know where I'm going with this. Ilya Mikheyev. The attitude was really what irked me when he wanted out just because he was snake bitten, right? I was like, take some accountability, be better. Or just shut up. Like that was how I was feeling for a while. And he did need to score more. But right now, man, when it rains, it pours. We're seeing that with Marner and Mikheyev. But Mikheyev especially, because he's come back and been perfect the whole time. I know perfect's like, a fickle word, but you get what I mean, bro. He's converted on basically every opportunity that he's had. And this was a great example of a crucial opportunity that the Leafs should never have had. Severson's out to lunch and we end up getting a gift.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I mean, it can't get much better than that. As I said in the opening of the video, you'd rather just not have problems. But if you do end up with problems, thank God we can outscore them. And the fact that we can do it on the penalty kill too, I mean, I'm all sorts of hyped up. I got to give my Austin Matthews play of the day to Mikheyev as well.
Well, one thing I do want to kind of address there, you said we were eating our words on it. I get it, but here's the thing, okay? At the time, we were completely justified because Mikheyev had not done enough, and it was based on the fact that he made those trade demands. It wasn't, if he hadn't made the trade demands, I don't think you and I would have sat there and been as harsh as we were. This guy was asking out in a situation where he hadn't performed. He hadn't put up points. He didn't have the numbers. You're right, where we're looking at it and going, okay, well, he is doing it now, so maybe we were a little harsh on it. But I think at the time, it was definitely justified.
No, I'm with you. And I mean, like, obviously, I guess I'm being a little bit over the top, but I think that him coming back and playing the way he has and allowing us to bury Nick Ritchie, who, like, man, you could even debate that he was worse, like, for how much you were paying him. The fact that we were able to, it sounds so savage, but like the fact he came back and immediately did great. I mean, even if he was just doing good, it allowed us to go ahead and bury Nick Ritchie, which could end up being huge for us at trade deadline. And as we're saying, like, our cap space is, it's wild. So this is a big time relief that we're getting from Mikheyev. So had he been traded, we might have some issues right now. Or I wouldn't know about issues, but it wouldn't feel as perfect as it does at the moment. And like I said, perfect's a fickle word, but Mikheyev brings us a little bit closer than we would be right now with Ritchie. So for that reason, I think saying that if he had been traded, we were justified to say it at the time. It would have made sense. But also now that we're here and we still have him, it feels great because he's a big reason of why this team can feel a little bit more comfy going into playoffs.
Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to your boy Pierre Engvall. He had himself a pretty good night tonight. He doesn't come away with like a ridiculous amount of points or anything. He doesn't get a goal like he did against Detroit the other night. But Keefe gave him opportunities on that second line over Kerfoot at times. There was different points, and that just goes to the blender where he says, hey, this guy's going, you're playing with these guys. And if you're playing well, you deserve that opportunity. And the other thing that comes of it is that fourth line ends up getting a goal, and it comes off of good play because they were going. They were playing well against Detroit the other night, and finally it works out for them. They get rewarded for it, seeing the puck go in the back of the net. And what a shot by Jason Spezza, just burying that one top corner. Cash the plus 350 on the pregame bet preview, so nice one there as well. But just a beautiful shot all around, and the fourth line getting rewarded. But I mean, how did you feel getting to see your boy Pierre move up to the second line for a few shifts?
Man, this man can do no wrong. Put him on the first line, he'll figure it out. He might not score like what happened tonight. Like, he might not end up with a goal. But you know what? He'll find a way to not make mistakes and try to elevate the line in some shape or fashion. Like, if someone told you last year, Phil, that Pierre Engvall would be getting some second line minutes in a game that they're trying to fight and come back into, like, I mean, that just wouldn't make sense. Pierre Engvall has, instead of trying to up his game, he's tried to level it out. He's tried to make sure that he doesn't make mistakes. And it's so clear that when he's out there, he's got so much purpose. I love it. You can see him actively thinking before the play comes to him. How can I avoid making a mistake? How can I help the team? Like, I know it's a very like general observation to apply, but Pierre Engvall, in my opinion, he's been one of your most consistent players. Definitely. And getting an opportunity to play on the second line and going right up there and having a decent impact, like, I'm so happy for my guy. Like, and he didn't become my guy until this season when I'm looking at him like, oh my God, he's made such crazy strides. Like, I'm thrilled for him. He definitely did look solid tonight, despite not getting a goal in the back-to-back game. But hey, man, we got the win, and he looked good at doing it.
We got to get you an Engvall jersey. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we actually, okay, hold on. I got to show everyone this. I don't know if anyone really notices, but this right here is a Kapanen jersey. I feel like people are like, he wore 2-4, so people probably see it and think it's Matthews, like maybe think it's a 3 or something, but no, man, I got love for the grinders. So you know that Pierre Engvall, I got to get his jersey. I'm going to hop on AliExpress right after this and order it.
All right. Maybe what we'll do is we'll get a live stream going tomorrow. If we get us enough people in there, we'll both order just like a ridiculous jersey.
Oh, dude, okay. We'll do like the screen sharing thing where we can go through AliExpress and we'll get something like so ridiculous.
All right. I'm in for that. But as far as tonight's game goes, what a comeback by this team. The defense, the goaltending early on, not very good. The defense had some struggles. I even look at one of the goals, and I know there's going to be some people who get all poopy pants about this in the chat, and feel free to go for it. But Justin Hall had one of the plays where he just legit just completely lost a net front battle. The guy turns around, gets the rebound, out muscles him, buries it in the back of the net. Tough look for him on those. But, as far as the rest of it went, Liljegren didn't start that well. And then from that point on, this defense looked pretty solid. Dermott and Liljegren didn't really see much ice. It was mostly Brody, Riley, Sandin, and Hall going at the end there. But hey, you got to work with what you've got at this point and who's going, and those couple of those guys didn't have the best starts to the game. So Keefe, not afraid to go with the guys who are going to help them win. I don't know, man. Let's get to our grades of the game here. I think we're almost done on this one, so we'll go with our grades of the game. All right, okay. So as you know, last game I introduced to you my grade of the game calculator. So I've calculated my grades. I know what I've got here. Based on my grades, I'm going to let you go first, and we'll see how my mathematical grades of the game work compared to your grade of the game.
All right. I think if I'm not mistaken, last game you were at a C+ and I was at a B.
Yes.
I'm going to go with a B again. It's a similar vibe in this game, but you know what, man? A Matthews hat trick, Mitch Marner scoring again. Correct myself. I'm going to crank it up to a B+ because, it's a similar vibe where it's like, we're coming out of the gate. Things do not look good. Jack Campbell's starting to maybe concern some people. I'm not really on that bandwagon, but of course I don't like to see him getting lit up there in the opening period. It wasn't perfect, right? You'd rather not have problems. You managed to outscore them, and you outscore them in probably one of the most fun fashions possible. Austin Matthews is a top player in this. Man, he's damn near like a top 3 player in this league right now. But that's a hot take to a lot of people, and I get it, and I understand why it is. But this guy is special, and he comes up in moments that, I get he got an open net goal tonight, or an empty net goal, but for the most part, he's scoring clutch goals and fighting visibly hard to get this team back into it. Tonight's a great example of it. So I'm going to up it 1 from our last game to a B+ because it wasn't perfect. It definitely doesn't deserve an A. But wow, man, if you're going to come and outscore your problems, you can't picture a more fun way to do it. And the bets looked good tonight, man. Vintage. I love Jason Spezza. Man, he's got to be him and Pierre Engvall. Right there, 2 favorite players on the team. Who needs Matthews or JT or Marner? Those are the guys. So I got to go B+ on this effort. That feels right. What's your equation telling you? I'm not much of a math guy, Phil.
All right, so you've got your gut check grade. We'll call it that, and you go with a B+, okay. Right? I'm going to go with my Kyle Dubas analytical grade. I'll break this down category by category again here, right? Team offense,
all right.
5 out of 5. You score 6 goals, Boom. 4 unanswered in the third period. Hard to argue with there. If you're scoring 6 goals, your offense is flying. Give it to him for that. Team defense, I'll give it to a 4. I think it's a little generous on the 4, to be completely honest with you, going with that grade, because it started slow. You allow 4 goals against, but I got to be completely honest here. I've loved Jack Campbell all season long. He has not played great lately, and he's let in a couple of bad goals here. It's not like they were poorly timed bad goals. It's early in the first period, but there was some that he's going to want back. He's going to look at the tape and go, man, I wish I had that back. But then I go to the 4 because Peter Mrazek comes in a backup situation. He just played on Saturday night against Detroit. He makes 19 saves on 20 shots. He has a .950 save percentage, and he holds this team in there to a win. He gets a goal scored on him early, but he fights right through after sitting on the bench to start this game, not mentally being prepared to be the guy to have to go in there. So I move it up to a 4. Power play, I'm going with the 4. It was a 1 for 3 tonight. To go 30% on the night, it's not like it's like, oh, the craziest number ever, but it's still a good stat. The Leafs have been one of the best, if not the best, power play team in the NHL, hovering around 40% over the last little while. And to pull out a 33% on your power play on the night to still manage to get a goal, I'll give it the 4 on that one. My penalty kill grade, I think this one's going to be pretty obvious. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. They stop all 3 Devils power plays tonight, and they managed to score shorthanded. Not just score shorthanded, Goody, score the game-winning goal shorthanded. So creds to the penalty kill, and it was late in the game too to be able to get that one clutch moment from them. My overall grade, an 88%, which translates to B+.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
I thought it would be like an A- or something.
I thought so too, but that's what I was doing when I looked at my phone when you were talking there. I was like, wait a minute, I need to double check what this calculates to. And according to the American grade school system, that's what it says. 87 to 89 is a B+.
Damn. Okay, so I guess I'm doing the mental math here because B+ is the answer that I came to as well with my gut check grade. But yeah, no, man, I agree with your analysis and breakdown. For similar reasons, that's why I handed the B+ too. But man, emphasizing the penalty kill, like, come on now, the penalty kill is getting offensive out here. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, to be able to score goals like that, to be able to do that is unreal. I mean, we got some problems going on here right now, let's be very clear. Peter Mrazek comes in and he plays well in relief of Campbell, but for Campbell to have to go out like that, that's kind of a stinker for Mrazek. He didn't play that well against Detroit, and then he does back it up tonight. He plays a good game, so maybe I'll just have to eat my words, and maybe tomorrow we'll do a live stream post game and we can get people in the chat telling me what I have to do if Peter Mrazek does something miraculous for this team. Who knows? We'll figure it out when the time comes to it, but yeah.
I do wonder what the sentiment in the comments is going to be after tonight, because there might be a few realists out there who are like, boys, you're way too fired up about this. We had to outscore the problems again. What's going on with our goaltending situation, right? There are some Band-Aids covering up some pretty bad wounds right now. I mean, it feels great after this game, but I would understand some mixed sentiment in the comments. And I already know loyal follower Gordon Graham is, he might stick his neck out again for Justin Hall, but and I agree. I think he probably, I've been the founder of the Justin Hall hating fan club for a while now. So I'm just sticking to my guns at this point. He's been given a pretty fair knock in the comments, but I'm still it isn't a shtick. I genuinely believe Justin Hall needs to go. It'll be interesting to see the kind of sentiment we see in the comments today. Definitely remember to comment and subscribe if you guys are watching this.
Well, Leafs fans, there you go. There's our breakdown of the Toronto Maple Leafs coming back to score 4 unanswered against the New Jersey Devils and win this one 6-4. A back-to-back 2-goal game comeback that this team provides us. We go big on the bets tonight. Matthews, 3+ goals. Jason Spezza cashes. Unfortunately, we missed the first period puck line. But hey, way things go. You can't win them all. We still come out positive on the night, so big one there. Marner scores in 6 straight. Riley gets himself another point. Matthews gets a hat trick. Bunting gets more points on the board. I mean, Jason Spezza snaps in an 11-game goal drought. We're just looking at some good things going on. Mikheyev even gets himself a goal. The penalty kill is scoring. The power play is scoring. Who isn't scoring right now, Goody? It's ridiculous. We can't be stopped.
You get a point. You get a point. You get a point. It's
just meme, insane, man. At this point. Matthews catching up in the Calder race. Leafs fans, what a breakdown. What a game. We will see you guys tomorrow after the game against the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. in New Jersey. Yes, we've got a rubber match. It will be an intense one. We will see you guys after that. Keep believing.
Signing off.